Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today we'll be taking a look at this recent system that I've done. So you probably noticed, or if you have watched some of my previous YouTube videos, I have done a build in this case before. This is the Lian PC-O7S. Now this is the largest version they have in their wall mountable cases. So these are their brand new sort of cases that have just been released. Now they are quite expensive. Now this one retails at around the $600 Australian mark, but as you can see from the system, it is purely just looks like one of a kind. There's pretty much no other chassis on the market that sort of even comes close to this. There's other companies bringing some out, but I've never seen any sort of in the past unless you have to custom do it yourself. So some of the others are they get cheaper as the smaller they go down. They go all the way down to a I think they might do an ITX or they do an MATX, but this is the largest one here. And I've kind of done a bit of a mod now. I haven't done too much modding on this because you must admit it is Lian Li, and there was no way I was going to destroy this case in any way just to do a mod. So the only thing I did was put two screw holes in the back just so I could get the radiator mounted. So I wanted to keep it in its original form, but I wanted to make it look something different. So as you can see, there's no radiator on the inside. My previous build I had in this one had the radiator in the top. The case does support a 360mm up the top with about 40mm thickness for the rad and then 25 for the fans, and then it'll just drop down in this cavity here. But I wanted to do something different. A lot of my builds I like to have horizontal or vertical tubes all going the one way. So what I did with this one, I had no sort of plan. One night I was thinking, I was bored, I said I feel like doing a mod, so I just sort of did a quick design and threw this together. So I've used an Corsair AX1200i. I already had this painted white for another build. I just recoated it again in a sort of a brighter white, painted the grill blue. Now this is a French blue paint. I found this French blue matches the best with the, this is the Mayhem's blue pastel. So they work really good together, the best combo. And as you can see, I've gone bits power, water cooling all out. This is their white fittings. So I wanted to, there was no way I was going to paint the case at all, because if you're familiar with Lian Li, they're really nicely done with their brushed aluminium. So I do like the contrast, how I've got the black case, the white fittings, and then this is the Asus Z97 Mark S. So it's the Sabertooth, which is full white PCB. Now I did take the armor cover off. I wanted to do something a little bit different, sort of change it around a bit, and yeah, just do something different that a lot of people don't see. Now, if you're wondering where the radiator is, it is all the way on the back here. So I had this spare. I had this on an old system, an old Cosmos with an electronic actuator. It's in one of the YouTube videos. It used to be on one of the side panels that would swing out. So I just had this sitting here. I flushed it out. I've just had it sitting on the shelf. No use for it at all. So I thought, hey, why don't I sort of put this to use? I tapped two holes at the top for the thumb screws to screw in, and then that's just it. Now I've also put some quick disconnects. I really do like these. I only really use them for using external devices, because if I was to transport this, I can just undo these two here. So quick disconnect, just let me find out which way this one goes, like that. And then just done. Now these are the coolants ones. I honestly haven't tried any other brand. I've had this for a couple of years now, and they just work so good. So I can't really say if these are the best on the market, but I've never had a drop. And then you could just disconnect this, throw this in the car. You could lie this down, wrap it up, whatever you like, and then it's ready to go. The only thing that I've defected with this case by doing this is it's not really going to be too easily wall mountable now, because when it was wall mountable, it was kind of just had that little the little slots where you just put some screws in the wall and just drop it down. Those two holes are now covered, but my plan was not to wall mount this now. I've just got this sitting on a nice shelf, which I put on the wall anyway. So what I'll do now, I'll take this glass cover off. It's probably getting a heap of reflections. I'll take this glass cover off because it is relatively thick. It's a couple of mil, so it's really nice sort of tinted glass they use. It's not plexi or anything. And we'll see how I've actually done all the tubes at the top, because I custom made this little these were two clear bits of plexi which I sanded down a lot, and we'll see how the tubes go in along up the top. So I've now taken the glass side panel off, so you can see now it is quite a little bit brighter. So I would say that the tinted glass does make it a few shades darker. I'm not sure if you can see, but the pastel blue, I haven't had this on for a little while and it started to settle. So what I'll do now is we might just turn it on, just so we can get that to settle, not settle, run through a bit. I'm not sure how noisy. It's going to be a little bit noisy because of the power supply. Spins up a bit. Alright, so that's gone down a bit now. And we'll just see. So pretty much down the bottom, I've just stuck an RGB strip down here with the controller. And at the moment, that's just on the loop cycle with going through all the different colors. And we might just put that down so you can see right down the bottom. So yeah, pretty much right down the bottom, RGB LED strip. I use the bits power. This is the DDC pump top and cooler, and the DDC is in there. I actually had to quickly go out and buy this DDC because my original DDC pump was dead, was not working at all. I got a few D5s, but there was no way to fit a D5 in this area down here. Even with this small reservoir, it just would not fit at all because it was hitting the power supply connectors there. So I had to go with the DDC, but this DDC is literally flying through this whole system, especially with this 1080 radiator, which is equivalent to running pretty much the same as three 360mm radiators, and it's just flying through. So I was really impressed with how fast that was actually going through. Some of the other things, these are some sleeve cables I had from a previous build. So these are done by the guys at Ice Mods. Really nice cables. We might see if we can get a close up on them. But yeah, really nice cables. And you got the 24 pins, a little bit messy because it's actually hitting this sort of bend, or these fittings, and it's kind of pushing it out a bit because there just wasn't enough room to get that in there. So we'll have a look up the top. The only reason I showed you inside first is because I got to take the radiator off the back, so I got to break the loop with these quick disconnect fittings, and then I can take this off and I can actually show you actually inside how all these tubes come up. And then you can see there's a nice little glow. I actually added another LED strip, and you can probably notice that it's actually not a cool white LED strip, so it's actually your more warm sort of lighting, like your home lights and whatnot. So it's not your real white. So I wanted to add a little bit of contrast, something a little bit different than the white that was already in there. Now we'll just have a look inside. Before I take this cover off, I'll just show you sort of how this cover works. So this cover is just like this. It's kind of a big U shape that wraps down over the top. Now I really like this idea how they've done that. You've got 3 countersunk screws along the back, which are nice and flush. You've got 2 countersunk screws here, which are slightly bigger, which hold it into the frame, and then the whole thing just lifts off like so. So if you were using this system normally, you can see you've got your fan holes there. Takes 3 120mm there. It actually, these aren't the right fan holes, but what happens is you actually screw in a bracket, that slice screws in here, and then that holds your radiator. So you don't actually screw your radiator with fans into here, you actually screw it into the mount that comes with it, which I actually took off because I don't need it at all. And then yeah, that's that bit there. So pretty much looking inside, so I've done an alternating sort of theme. So I've got all the white inside. Up this top bit, I've now got black. So you can see it goes from white to black, and then this pretty much just completes the loop. So where it goes in, it goes up, and then it just goes to the next element. And then I needed 2 bits to go out to the rear, which you saw down the bottom out the back. And these are these bits here. And I'm really impressed with this case how you can actually fit tubes behind the motherboard tray. They've given you about this much room behind the motherboard tray. You wouldn't think it. I didn't think it was at first. I thought there was no way that's going to be possible. But I got 2 3/8 inch soft tubing, about the standard size, running around the back and then out the bottom. So I got 2 lots of those. I've got all the cables, the extensions, and everything still went in fine. So I'll just run through the quick specs if you're interested. So this is running a 4770K. It's running a 780 GTX 780 DC 2 from Asus. People are asking why didn't I put 980s in. Well, I do have 980s, but I'm using them for sort of other builds. I'd rather keep this sort of as like a medium spec build. The AX1200i is complete overkill, but as I said earlier, it matches the theme perfectly. As you can see, I'll just put that down a little bit so you can see. I've got a HyperX Fury SSD 240 gig, which I painted blue down the bottom, and then I've thrown in a Western Digital 2 terabyte drive as well for some storage. And as for the RAM, I have no idea. I think it might be Patriot. I'm not sure. I just use some old RAM because whenever I put blocks on my RAM, I don't want to use my good stuff because I never really put the heatsinks back on. So once I use it for water blocks, it's pretty much sort of destroyed and can only be used for water blocks again. I don't like to spend the time on putting them back together, and I think it's just 8 gigs of something. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to run you through this quick build I did. I pretty much did this overnight. Started one night about 9, stayed till about 2 or 3 a.m. doing it, and then the last thing I had to do was race out that next day to grab the DDC pump, which I needed to replace. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to thanks everyone for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe and stay tuned for more videos in the future.